It's Angela with Wild Violet's Art. I'm playing with the gorgeous. Oh man, I forgot about my earbud. Here we go. So, once again, I'm playing with the really beautiful Secret Garden kit that Stampin' Up! Purchased from Close to My Heart, and it's available to purchase. And it has some really gorgeous papers, really beautiful stamps and dies. My favorite are, I think, the papers and some of the 3D dies. So I played with this on Friday. If you caught my Friday kit together, and I put together a couple scrapbook page that was just yummy. I love this paper. I love the colors. And the kit says that it makes three two-page layouts. So let me just show you real quick what I'm talking about. So these are two of the pages. So I made this one on Friday and I finished this one that goes with it. And there's a mix of stickers. They have photo holders or placeholders. So some of these are stickers. Some of these are stamped and colored. And so you can tell there's just really, really pretty details. Now, the bow I added on that was not part of the kit, but it's some of the embellishments that Stampin' Up! Has currently, but it's just so, so pretty. And I have enough supplies to make the two-page layouts. Plus, I have all this leftover cardstock. So if you're into scrapbooking, there's enough here that I think I could easily make another 2 to 3 two-page layouts. I've got tons of paper left, and even if I mixed it, I don't only have one more page of their vanilla, but it's really close to our whisper white or basic white. So I could easily just add the basic white and add this gorgeous paper to it. So, what I'm going to get to is today I'm going to show you how to make these two cards. I made these other two, and I'll talk a little bit more of that here in just a minute. But these are just really, really pretty, and it's just with the scraps that I had left over. And I'm talking little scraps, not great big scraps, because the great big scraps, as you can see, I want to be able to make more scrapbook pages because I just love these papers. They're so, so beautiful. So, and the nice thing about it is there's actually two sides, and I shouldn't have covered that up, but you can see there's actually two sides. So we've got um, all these different colors and patterns. And remember, their cardstock is two-toned. So Stampin' Up's going to be bringing that as well. So we've got just really, really beautiful options. And you can see that each one just really, really pretty. So anyway, I've got all this extra cardstock that I can't wait to start creating more scrapbook pages with. Okay, so the first one we're going to work on is this one right here. And like I said, because we don't have periwinkle, what I'm using a retired Orchid Oasis, which was one of my favorite stamp pads from the In Colors from a couple of years ago. So I kept it because I wasn't willing to let go of it. Actually, it retired last summer and or this spring. It's really hard to keep track. I think it was last summer. So, and I didn't want to let go of it because I love this color, and it gives me, when I stamp off, a really close replica of this color, of the darker of the periwinkle. So let me just show you how I made this card. Isn't that pretty? These are excuse me, the 3D flowers that I told you a little bit about. That and this is the two-tone cardstock, so you can see that it just really gives you lots of options. And these are, the green cardstock is two-tone, and the little leaves and the buds, of course, are also two-toned. So it's just so pretty. So I could glue this on the wrong way. Okay, so just really pretty. Okay, so let me just show you how I made this card. All right. So I literally just had scraps that I wasn't sure what to do with. And this scrap here is actually something that you cut off from the top of the cardstock. So I think I've shown you that. So you see this strip up here that gets cut off. Well, they gave it a pattern. So to me, I'm saving every little bit because they make for really fun cards. So these two are the cardstock, and then this one was that strip. Okay, so I have already die cut out some of the flowers, and let me just show you the dies that I'm using for this. So these are the dies, and for this one, I'm using this flower, and then for the bud, the little pop of color over to the side, I'm using this one and this one. There's actually a third one that I could have used instead, but I just liked the flowing look a little bit more than the tight little bud. And then, of course, we have these little tiny blooms that are for this little bud. So this is for that, and this is for the buds. And then I have, so the little pieces, I know some people don't have any patience with that. I love working with it. It just makes me happy doing all the pretty little flowers. So, okay, so I started with an A2 card. There's another scrap I don't need. And so 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then I made it landscape. And so I'm going to make flags at the bottom of all three of these, and then I'll position it where I want. But before I do that, I'm going to use one of the little, or two of the little stamp sets from, this is their stamp set. It's got happy, 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 love. This is smile, memories, it's a beautiful life. So you can see that these can be used for scrapbooks, but why can't they be used for cards? I mean, I think this would make a great anniversary or birthday, to a friend. So I thought, why not? So this time I'm going to use the happy and just kind of do the same thing on here. And then I'm going to use, oh, I know what the scrap was for. I'm going to use a scrap to pop out the middle happy. So, okay. So the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure to stamp scrap. Here we go. Very well loved scrap. Okay, so I'm going to ink this up really good. And make sure I have plenty of ink on it. And then I'm going to stamp it off. And then I'm going to stamp it on my card front. Okay, so this is just a really simple card. There's not a whole lot of complicated about it. And then I'm going to ink it up again, and then I'm going to stamp it on my scrap. And I'm going to cut out one of these happies, the one in the middle, so that it has somewhat of the same popped up look. It's not going to be quite as fancy, but I thought it was really fun way to kind of emphasize one of the words. So like on this one, you can see that I popped it out and I used full strength ink and then die cut it or just fussy cut it out and popped it on top. So, okay. And then the next one is just this little um, embellishment. So let me show you the stamp again. So they have not embellishment, but it's got a lot of, it's like little V's. And then they've got one that's like little tiny dots. So I'm going to use the V's just because I thought they were kind of cute. So I'm stamping off and then trying to remember the order of things here. I think that's enough. So I like the look of that, just kind of giving it a little bit of a background. Okay. So next I've got one of these that I can use for the envelope. So I can either put it down here or put it to the side. And I think for this one, I'm going to put it down here and I'm going to use the polka dot instead of the trellis. Okay. So for these, if you have the banner pick-a-punch, that's the easiest way to get your flags. But if you don't, then what you can do is just take a little snip in the middle, as close to the middle as you can, and then cut from both sides from the corner. And I think that your little banner is going to look really, really good. So again, I'm just going to snip in the middle. And I'm going to go up about, I don't know, 3/8 of an inch. With that. And depending on how big your banner is, obviously, I mean, you can make it flatter or whatever you want to do. Okay, so I've got 3 banners. So I'm going to go ahead and glue the one. And I want that one to go as pretty close down to the bottom of the so I'm going to just place it about right here. Just trying to make sure that this dimension over here is even. And I think I'll scoot it down just a little bit. Doesn't want to scoot. Okay. And then I will glue this one on. Okay, so I'm going to need to go about there. I don't want to glue all the way up because I don't like getting glue on my scissors. And I'm going to overlap it a little bit. I like that look. And then the last one is going to go up a little bit higher. So there we go. Then I just turn it over and I just trim it off. Okay. All right. Now I've got these flowers, and so what I want to do first is I want to take my bone folder, and I'm just gonna, let me just show you up close. I'm just gonna bend each one of the leaves that pops up. Now granted, when it's been in the mail for a while, you're gonna find that everything will kind of flatten out, but when I'm taking photos and such, I want it to have a little bit of 3D dimension. So, and the bone folder works really nice for that. Just kind of curls it up. I can curl up the leaves as well. So I'm going to do that to this as, so each one of the pieces. Okay. Just going to glue this together. You can also put a dimensional in between if you'd like. And I'm just going to stagger it a little bit so that none of the petals are exactly the same. All right, and then I just want a little dot for my flower center. It's like I have an extra. Okay, so this flower goes about right here. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the leaves. I'll leave this one down. And then for this blossom, I'm actually going to curl them in opposite directions. So this one will go against this, and I'm actually going to put a dimensional in between. So I want my bigger dimensionals so that it kind of helps keep it up. So I'm actually going to put another one on the inside so they stack against each other. Let me show you what I mean. Because I want it to be able to stay up. So by putting the dimensional between, you can see that my flower is going to look 3D for a lot longer. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to adhere these leaves to the bud. So I'm just going to use some glue dots, and I'm just going to roll them up, and I'm going to place it just inside the leaves, just on the back side along the edge so that it captures bud. And then I just put this in between so you can see what I'm doing. It kind of wraps around it. Okay, so now I need a dimensional back here. So I'm going to put, actually I want smaller ones. This one here and this one here. And I need two big ones behind this flower. When I have something big, I like to stabilize it, and sometimes I think one dimensional doesn't quite do it. So, all right, so I'm going to put it to the side, and then I can start adding my leaves. And I want to make sure that the leaves aren't in the way of my words. And if my stem looks like it's a little too long, I can trim a little off. Here we go. This one. I can have a bigger dimensional. And I want it to just a little bit more. There we go. Okay. So now I need to assemble this little blossom. So I'm just going to put a tiny little blue dot on each one. And then I'm going to use my pick a tool. And you can see it's got the sticky edge. So it's a little bit like a puzzle. Each one of them has an individual shape. And so what I'm trying to do is just make sure that I've got them in the right place. These are both colors, the light and the dark. So it's the both sides of the cardstock. And right. So now I can just turn this around, put one of my smaller dimensionals on the back. I'm just going to use one. And just place it out right there. Okay. And now I need to fussy cut out one of these happies. So if I have a straight area, then I just keep it straight. And then when it starts getting curly, then I'm just going to follow it around. But like the whole top of the word happy is all straight till it gets to the H. And then just put some dimensionals on the back of it. Just pops up your sentiment. So it's just a good way to kind of make it special. See, kind of fun. All right, and then the kit includes embellishments. Let's see if I can figure out where I put them. I had them here. Here they are. And you can see I still have plenty of embellishments for my scrapbook pages, so I'm happy with that. And then the envelope, this one I'm going to make it the polka dotted instead of the trellis. So I'm just gonna put it along here. Just a little space at the bottom. So I can still write the address on it. And if you're worried about something that you've put on the front of the card, you can always put it in a plastic envelope and have it be hand stamped. So, all right. So there's the first one. All right, and then the second one. It's so pretty. So for this one, you can see that I added a little bit more scraps. So again, I used 3 pieces of cardstock, and they were just miscellaneous pieces that I had. And then this sentiment right here is a sticker. So, and this card opens like so. And then of course I used this frayed Grosgrain River ribbon, which is available through Stampin' Up. So I wanted to break it up a little bit this way, just to kind of give it a little extra. And then I have the envelope. Again, I put it over here on this one side, and it was just a random scrap that I had. Okay, so all right. For this one, I know it's showing all yellow, and that's because that is the other side of this paper. So it's the same really pretty print, but in yellow and white. So we're going to use this piece along here, and we'll use a piece along the bottom. I've got naughty kitties clawing at the bottom of my door. They're going to rip the carpet. And then I can do this along the bottom of my envelope. Okay, so let's put this aside. All right, so this is the bigger blossom. This was a littler one. So I'm just going one up on this blossom. And so there's all these different sizes. So I'm using this one, and this one for this blossom. Okay. So once again, I'm going to use my bone folder to flip it up. Glue it together and let it sit while I put together my next pieces. And as you can see, this one is staggered with the two-tone cardstock. In other words, one side is one color, the other side's another color. Hold on, I need to get kitties to stop. We're going to have to replace the carpet the whole way because that's how they pretty much let us know they're not happy being outside. So, very bad kitties. All right. Okay, so this is drawing. And let me just put it aside. And I can start adding these really pretty papers to the cardstock or to the card base. So again, it's an A2 card. And this time, oh, I should make sure it's turned the right way. It is 11 inches by 4¼ and scored at 5½. So it's still landscape, but you can see that I decided to switch things up a little bit. I just think the flowers looked really good on a landscape, and it just kind of is the way my scraps worked out as well. So, this scrap right here is 4 1/4 by 2 1/2. And then this one wasn't quite 4 1/4, so it's 4 inches by 3. And so it just worked out that I needed something else. And that's why I decided to put a little bit down below just to kind of tie in all the colors. It's really pretty. I wish I would have had one that was just a little bit bigger, but that's okay. It's hard to cover up the pink because I really love this peachy pink a whole lot. And just as a reminder, in case you're not, you're new and you didn't see my Friday video, I'm using coordinating inks are Daffodil Delight, and then Pretty in Pink, Pool Party, Lost Lagoon, and then I was using another one that is retired. This was one of the in colors, Evening Evergreen, because I think it's a really close color to this green. I couldn't find my other retired green that coordinated with that. So, okay, so got this one. I just love this pattern. It's so pretty. And just trim off the excess. Okay, so because of this card being shaped this way, I can have the ribbon go all the way around on this side. So let's put the ribbon in now. Make sure it's straight on the inside, and it wasn't. Wondering how I'm doing my bow and how I get it to sit straight. I have a video that is on my YouTube channel that just says bows, bows, bows. And so if you go to Wild Violet's Art YouTube on the YouTube channel, and you go and you look at bows, 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 then this video will show up that helps you figure out how I do my bows and how I get them to stay in place. Okay. All right, so let's straighten out the ribbon. And then what I can do is I need to add the center to my flower. So this one, you can see it's got a lot more yellow to it. And what I did is I had some extras of these little blossoms in yellow, and I just put 3 of them there. So you can see that it just kind of gave it a little bit more of a pop. But with it being a yellow blossom, I guess I could have found some brown or something, but I'm okay with this. All right. Now I'm going to put 2 large dimensionals back here. And when I put this down, it's going to help keep the bow in place. Okay. All right. So here's another one of those. So this is remember this blossom over here had 2 pieces? So this one has 3. It's got these 3 right here. And so I'm using this one, and this one. So those 3. And let's make them pop again. I didn't do that with this card, but I should have. Okay, so I'm going to put 2 smaller pieces back here, and I'm just going to stack them directly on each other. Ah, I put it in the wrong place. So you need to put it on the inside of this one, and actually I can make sure that when they're staggered, just kind of gives it a 3D look. And then the same thing as before. For this, I'm just going to put some rolled up glue dots behind on the back side of the leaves, right at the top back side. And this will just, whoops, fit really nicely over here. Okay, and then looks like I'm missing one of my leaves. So I'm supposed to have a couple of big leaves here. So what I'll do is I will snip these apart, and I say divide and conquer. There we go. That works. Very sad little kitten. He thinks he's being neglected and unloved. It's his mommy. Okay. And then the last one is, I'm missing one of my petals. Let's see if I can find it in my scraps. Yep, there it is. If you're not into the little parts and pieces, you can always die cut this out in whatever color you want your accent piece to be, and that would work as well. But I love the little petals are different. The little buds are different colors than the stems. So I'm okay just spending a little bit of time with that. Okay, so just have a little bit of glue on my finger. It's going to look somewhat like this, like the little image in the And the card designer series paper, isn't that pretty? Okay. Just a little bit more glue. Doesn't want to stick. There we go. All right. And then like one mini glue dot behind the biggest space. And then I just place it right there. It's still really beautiful. So now we need a sentiment. Okay. So what I'm going to do is look through the remaining stickers that I have and figure out something that works. I think best friends would be really pretty. Or we could just put love, make it into a wedding, or celebrate. I think it'd make a beautiful wedding card. So I didn't even have to stamp anything. I just used one of the stickers. And I still have all these stickers that aren't really going anywhere in particular. That will be a fun addition to the additional scrapbook pages that I have. Okay, so the last thing is just adding some embellishments, and I can either add them in green or I can add them in yellow. I think I like this green. It's really pretty. There. And then I still need to do my envelope. So rather than having it down at the bottom, I'm going to do it like so. Just makes it look like you've got custom stationery. When somebody sees something special on the envelope, they know they've got something even more special on the inside to look forward to. Okay. So these are the 4. So you can see just slight differences. And then I have these 2 that I'm going to take out, just show you a little bit more detail. So again, I've used a little extra. So for this one, I used little 1/2-inch strips of designer series paper, just scraps that I had, and I glued it to a 4-inch by 5 1/4 piece of paper. Once I had it all glued down, then I used an embossing folder to emboss the background. So I used this really pretty cute crochet 3D. It's the same one that I used for this one. And again, I had just a scrap. Let me just take this out. So this one was stamped. So I had a little scrap here. And you can see the cute crochet 3D folder. It's so pretty, just very subtle. And then these are all stamped instead. And then this is a stamped sentiment that's from the stamp set right here. It says smile, and I just fussy cut it out and put it on. So you can make it simple or you can make it more complicated. So now this is the most complicated peony that I did. It's got 5 layers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, nope, just 4 layers. So for this one, I used the 2 biggest and then the 2 with the most ragged edges. And then I used all of the leaves and a couple of extras along with the little buds. So, and I used you can either use a sponge dauber or you can use your blending brush. And I just added yellow in the center in a couple of places. And then again, I just used one of the stickers that says smile. Isn't that pretty? So on the inside, I could easily put happy birthday or whatever I want it to be. So it doesn't have to be anything complicated. And this is, again, one of those pieces that came off the top of the designer series paper. So just using everything. I think it's a great way to use up your scraps. So if you've got like little strips or chunks, just kind of make puzzles out of it. Make them into banners, whatever it is that you want to do. So, well, that's all I have for tonight. If you're watching later on YouTube, again, this is Angela with Wild Violets Art. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a great evening and a great week. If you're watching later on YouTube, please like and subscribe to my channel. Every little bit helps my business. Thanks so much.